Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Mirror Dungeon 3 hard solo video. Today, we will be overworking W. Yi Song. He's one of the better rupture units in the game, as he can inflict a lot of rupture count, which is far more important than potency for any status effect. Jumping right into the kit breakdown, we have Dimensional Slit, as the skill 1 rolling a 5 to 11. On use it gives 2 charge, and if at 10 charge gains 2 coin power, boosting the max roll to a 13. On hit it gives an extra 2 charge and inflicts 2 rupture. Pretty standard for a skill 1 all around. For skill 2 we have Energy Cycle, one of the 2 most common skill names for W Corp identities. It rolls 5 to 15 with 2 coins, and at 10 charge gains an extra coin power, boosting it to a 17. On use it gives 7 charge and inflicts 1 bind and 3 rupture on hit, as well as an extra 3 rupture and 2 rupture count when at 10 charge. It's a decent skill. Beating a 16 roll is always good, but it does require charge to not have a net loss to rupture. Skill 3, Dimensional Rift, like any charge identity, gives a substantial payoff to building charge. Being a 3 coin skill, it rolls a 5 to 17 and gains bonus coin power if at 10 to 15 charge, boosting it to either 20 or 23 respectively. If you are at 15 charge, it also inflicts 3 rupture count before the attack, meaning it will never actually kill your stack. Pets hit with the first 2 coins inflicts an extra rupture, and the third coin inflicts a max of 9 rupture depending on how much charge you spent, as well as inflicting 2 Dimensional Rift when 15 charge is spent. It's basically just the cooler version of rupture count. I guess it also gives 5 charge barrier on kill, but who really cares about that? Certainly it's a skill plastered with a multitude of different effects, but essentially it can be boiled down to charge makes rupture go burr. His defense skill, Hollow Dimension, is an evade, which rolls the average 4 to 14, but can go up to a 16 with charge. It also gives a bonus of 3 rupture potency next turn for evading, which is pretty nice. The passive, Emptied Thought, gives upwards of 3 haste for every 5 charge, and applies 3 charge barrier to the lowest HP ally when using skill 3. It's nice to have, making redirection a non-issue, just by playing normally, but won't ever be too impactful. Luckily, Yi Song is strong enough he can survive the first floor without relying on any support ego gifts. So for our starter gifts, we choose Thunder Branch and Fluorescent Lamp to get more value out of the rupture. The first floor boss is up against Marile. It feels like every other run is against this guy, mostly because he has 2 fights that you can get, which is kind of stupid, if I'm being honest. Being fatal to blunt damage always makes this fight a pain, but thankfully Sunshower exists, and we can easily stagger most enemies when we inevitably get staggered ourselves. Afterwards, we can easily kill Marile with a well-timed skill 3, not only giving us charge barrier, but also destroying the remaining enemy's sanity, making it impossible for us to get staggered a second time. Now it's just a matter of cleanup and stalling to regain HP, and we are met with the first reward, Blue Zippo Lighter, ensuring we will always be able to use Sunshower whenever we please. Floor 2 boss is against Doomsday Calendar. Nothing really to talk about. Destroy the first wave as slowly as possible to gain more skills, and ensure at least 1 dies on the second, while focusing on the arms. Though Yi Song did channel W Corp's singularity a little too hard and started to transcend dimensions for a brief moment. After that, we just need to target the face, and rupture is more than enough to destroy it. Our reward is Helterfly's Dream, which doesn't help in the slightest. At the next few nodes, we pick up Tomorrow's Fortune and Non-Disclosure Agreement. Boss 3 is against everyone's favorite sad frog, the Blubbering Toad. He's quite possibly the easiest boss to solo, as he just ends up defeating himself by making us corrode. Though he does do exclusively blunt damage, which makes him a little bit scarier in this run. Though with a little bit of luck, we make it out of the first turn unstaggered. Second turn, corrosion is inevitable, so we just clash with a few egos to take as little damage as possible. Unfortunately, our corrosion doesn't end up targeting the highest damage skill, so we end up taking more damage than I would have liked. Next turn, the frog uses a skill that if we beat cancels all of his other skills, so we target down exclusively that part, miss all of our coin rolls because RNG, and just barely manage to beat it. After that, the frog's done for. The rupture stack is too high and we have too many attacks for him to ever hope of surviving. For our reward, we take the Rusty Commemorative Coin. Very useful to get 2 uses of Sunshower and insta-win most fights. Speaking of Sunshower, at the shop we pick up its Ego Gift, making it even stronger, as well as Scarlet Moths. I should have seen this coming, but with how often I use Sunshower in regular fights, it's only natural the 4th floor boss would be the Drifting Fox. Turn 1, pretty straightforward, just evade everything. Turn 2, the fox rolls too high for us to be able to clash without any charge boosts, so we choose to one-sided attack with skill 2 and evade almost everything. But an unlucky roll made us miss the final attack of the fox and get hit by all of the umbrellas afterwards. It's not that big of a deal, but it still stings a bit. Turn 3, the fox tanks our sanity, so the best course of action is to clash with the umbrellas and defeat them to regain it all. Thanks to Scarlet Moths destroying one of them and being fatal to sloth damage, a single skill 1 is all it takes to destroy all of them. Turn 4, I misplaced slightly. You see, I made the horrible, awful assumption that since the fox is basically at full HP, I would not be able to stagger it with a single skill 3. Because I thought that I would need to clash with its cry-sinking something skill, I used an ego, which thanks to having commemorative coin, only resulted in tanking my sanity. I failed the skill check as a result and ended up with negative 43 sanity. Now, turn 5 I could obviously defeat the fox this turn, but doing so would end up with very low sanity, going into the 5th floor, which is not something I want. The best course of action would be to clash with all of the umbrellas and the fox to regain all of my sanity, so I attempt to do that, but thanks to confusing targeting priorities that I only sort of half understand, I end up targeting the fox first, losing the clash and corroding. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that much. Corroding and winning the clashes would have resulted in roughly the same amount of sanity, so nothing is really lost. Our reward is the useless Smoke and Wires, chosen exclusively for how evades work with offense level, and we take Wound Claret as a bonus. Moving completely over the 5th floor, I pick up Wrist Guards at the final shop as well as Employee Card and Illusory Hunt. Now ready for the last fight, we are up against the Ambling Pearl. Even though we are fatal to blunt damage and the Pearl is still doing approximately 136 damage the first turn, it doesn't really matter like it did in the Lantern Dawn video, because we have something that she could only dream of, an evade. Evades completely trivialize this fight. All you have to do is dodge everything and attack whatever slime he's trying to eat, and eventually he'll auto-stagger himself, giving you free reign to stack up a ton of Rupture, making this one of the easiest fights in the game as long as you have an evade.
조금씩 나아가고 있네요. 어떻게 하나가 파괴되었어. 이대로 똑같이만 한다면 모든 부위를 파괴시킬 수 있겠지?
Once he's staggered, it doesn't matter what we do anymore. As long as we target the Rupture stack, he goes down without a fight.
칼날이 잘 드네요. 아마 그 공격이 약점이었겠죠? 방금 공격은 좋았어. 결손 부위에 이대로만 계속. 승리기 딱콩 한 방 먹였어.
아무래도 다른 사우들의 목까지 해결해 버린 모양이구려.
And that's how I soloed Mirror Dungeon 3 hard with W Yi Song, and the power of Rupture. All around super easy, one of the easier runs I've done, but that's just the nature of evades and Rupture. Super high damage and difficult to actually take damage makes soloing relatively easy. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, and if you want to see more, consider sticking around and subscribing. I love challenge runs and I love this game, so there will always be more. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.